So Ron, tell us how you met Lauren. How did you first get in contact with each other?
I knew her boss, you see. I've known Nick for many years. I mean, it really goes back a long, long time. And I had inquired, with Nick Capasso about having an exhibition. And so he brought Lauren along to my studio. And, we spent the better part of a day together and found out we had friends in common, and it's I feel like I'm part of the family now. It's really been quite nice for me.
And you want to tell us a bit about yourself? You're a curator here.
Yeah.
Tell us about this institution. Tell us about your vision of it.
Yeah, so I am the curator here at the Fitchburg Art Museum. I've been here about 2 years, although I have been here in the past as a curatorial fellow a handful of years ago. And FAM is a great place to be. It's a great place to work. I think that with our relatively small size, we have the ability to be nimble and flexible and exercise a lot of creativity in our jobs. I think every position here gets to do that. FAM has a strong mission of supporting contemporary artists from New England. That is a core value of our exhibition programming. And so I think the show with Ron is one example of many of supporting our regional artists.
Okay, and tell us a bit more. So you were brought to Ron's studio. What happened when you walked through the door? I've been there myself. It was an incredible experience. What were your thoughts? And also maybe tell us about your background and how that background influenced what you saw when you came through those doors.
Sure. So first, I do want to acknowledge that I did know of Ron's work before Nick brought this to the table. Ron is super entrenched in the local community and the arts community, and I've seen multiple showings of his work. So it wasn't new to me, and I knew of Ron's work. And so going to the studio for the first time was really fun. And I think Ron had sort of alluded to the fact that there was a lot of work there, but it was really incredible to see how many prints were hanging out. So well organized, a curator's dream, truly. And it was just fun it was very casual in that it was just an opportunity for us to kind of get to know each other better and sort of go through the work, big picture, no real particular goals in mind for that visit. And I, in my background in my career, have some knowledge of photography. I think that's part of the reason that I'm here at FAM. FAM has been working on developing a strong photographic lens or focus as well. And so my past position was working in the prints, drawings, and photographs department at the Worcester Art Museum, so lots of familiarity with photography there. And for my master's degree, I studied a photographer. So that's certainly been a strong thread that's run through my career.
So when you walked through the door, then you kind of felt like home, or you felt like I want to be there, or you felt like...
In Ron's studio?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, yeah. Well, it was very homey. I think there was music playing. I think, Ron made sure it was a comfortable experience. There were chairs, we sat, very comfortable. It was fun. It was just an enjoyable experience. I mean, the studio is all about work for Ron. I know some artists have lived workspaces, and I think for Ron, correct me if I'm wrong, but the studio is the place to go and work and be immersed in photography. So we also got a little bit of a tour of your technical underpinnings and your camera and your scanner. So that was really neat to see as well.
So Ron, what are they in for when they come to this exhibit?
Something new. I tell people that I have sort of a large format mentality because I did start back in the 60s with a large format camera, inspired by the works of Edward Weston and Ansel Adams, and for perhaps 50 years only shot large format black and white. When digital came along, I had the opportunity to photograph in color. I never really had the opportunity before because I did all my own darkroom work, and I didn't really want to send out the color work to be processed. I could have shot film, but I just chose to stay with black and white. When digital came along, and I was a late bloomer, believe me, I only got into digital about 20 years ago, maybe 22 years ago, so that's fairly recent in the scheme of things. And I only got into it because a lot of the people traveling on my photo tours started bringing these digital cameras that I knew nothing about. So I figured I better find out or learn how to pack bags at the local supermarket. You know, it was one of those things. I really had to, really get that new technology down. So I bought a digital camera, and it took time. It's a learning curve. It's still my vision, but getting it onto a piece of paper, requires a different kind of technology. It's even a different language than the black and white sort of darkroom days. But slowly but surely, as we say in Morocco, shweya shweya, which means slow, slow. I learned, and I became enamored. They say like converts are the worst kind. Well, I'm the worst kind now. I'm digital. I got rid of my darkroom, and by discovering color, it opened up a whole new avenue. It's a little bit like, say you're a dedicated guitarist, and all of a sudden you try the banjo and you like the sound of it, then you become fluent in 2 different instruments. Well, that's how I feel. I can't say one is better than another. They're both different. They're both separate. I don't exhibit my black and white and color together. I keep it separate because otherwise I find people often kind of make judgments. I like this more than this. I like the uniformity of the exhibit. And when Lauren brought up the idea of doing a color show, at first I'm going, And then I said, wow, why not? I think it's an exciting idea. I didn't realize, to tell you the truth, that I had so much color work, because I still think of myself primarily as a black and white photographer, but because I have been shooting color work and enjoying it and just kind of putting it in a stack in my studio, that I started bringing out this color work to show Lauren and Nick, and I realized, wow, this is going to be an amazing exhibit.
Ron, tell us, so what was the process? You were working together with Lauren to make the selection, or how did you decide? Because
yes, Lauren came back, and I separated all my color work out. And Lauren, she's the curator, so I owe a lot to Lauren to organizing all this space, as well as the person, the assistant curator, who was in charge of the actual layout of the work. That's a huge job itself.
Eli Young.
Yeah, Eli Young. She's a young woman with a tremendous talent, for organizing the space. So I'm totally, in awe of these women, who did this. I couldn't have done this job on my own. So. Where'd I go? What was the question again?
So how did you make this selection?
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Lauren. So, Lauren came back to the studio, this time without Nick, and I just brought out all my color images. I had maybe 3 times as much as what you see here, and Lauren had the vision and the eye to what would work well in this space, and she made the selection, as that's the job of the curator. And I went along because I could see where she's coming from, and I think it worked out to be just perfect. I'm just really delighted with the outcome.
And Ron, what would you like people to walk away with? When we spoke last time, we talked about this transcendental aspect of your black and white photography, of these landscapes, of this feeling of man meeting God in Rockport. So what would you like people to walk away with today? Lauren's favorite photograph is of orange peels. So tell us, what is it that...
Well, I can answer that because we were just discussing this so privately before. This may sound like kind of like I'm patting myself on the back, but it's not that. It's the truth. I feel I kind of have a calling or a mission in life. Everyone, I think, would like to leave this world a little bit better place, than when we entered. And I, through my photographs, try hard to inspire people as I have been inspired by, my perception of what's out there. I try very hard, and I'm very selective in my editing process and trying to choose the images that I feel have the most impact, that have inspired me the most, and that passes on. Reminds me of a little saying. I met this old man once in Ireland who said, give a smile, take a smile. passing it on. I'm trying to pass on inspiration. You make somebody's day and they go out feeling good, and then the people that they meet can feel good. Like the butterfly flapping its wings in Japan makes a little bit of a wave on this coast. So maybe it's a very small contribution, to our world, but that's my reason to be.
Okay, and Lauren, what do you hope that people take away from this? You're the curator. More or less the buck stops with you because you decided to put this on. What do you hope people leave with?
I think for longtime followers of Ron's work, I want them to come away seeing Ron in another dimension, the color work, that being a new thing, an unexpected thing. And for newbies, for people that might not have seen Ron's work or know it very well, I hope that they see the message of our beautiful Earth and appreciate the technical excellence and the beauty of the photographs. So, so far, what I've heard, I think that's what people are coming away with. So.
Fantastic. And last thought, Lauren, then about the museum, you as curator. As I understand, Fitchburg is kind of a working class city, and you're offering this art here. Tell us, where does it exactly fit in? What is your vision for the next steps of the museum?
That's a really great question. This show, like so many others, I think appeals to people on several levels. So thinking about where we are in Fitchburg, and what it means to have art here specifically, something we talk about all the time, all the staff, and I think that really drives what we're doing and why. And the museum is involved in several projects throughout the city that are working to revitalize the downtown. Across the street, we are building 68 units of affordable live-work spaces for artists that the hope is to sort of jumpstart that sort of economic turn. And so all of this plays a part in that, in bringing visitors in here, in being another thing that people who live in Fitchburg can be proud of and be a part of. So all of that is really important. And I think about our visitors too. I know that we get a lot of people that have never been in a museum before, and I want them to just come away being like, that was really fun, that was really exciting. Museums are not the scary places I thought they were. I really enjoyed it. And I want people that are very familiar with visiting museums to recognize the talent of our regional artists, of contemporary artists in New England. So hopefully we're getting all of that done.